Welcome to Hometown Movies. My name is Michael Kelly, and our guests tonight are two filmmakers from the Flint area, Ken Hannon and Valerie Clarke. Well, welcome to the show. Valerie, what is the first film you can remember ever seeing, including TV?
Ooh, the one that stands out is Gone with the Wind. I was 7, and I became a pacifist on the spot. Really? And it was not the original. It was, it had come back to the theater after, I saw it in the 40s.
Yeah.
Powerful, really powerful. Went to the movies every Saturday all of my life. I do remember serials. I was a moviegoer at the end of serials, loved them. And I still go to the movies, close my eyes, and open them and believe everything that I see.
Ken, how about you? What do you remember?
The big screen, Ben-Hur at the Capitol downtown Flint. I don't know why our family wasn't particularly moviegoers, not having grown up where movies are real close, and so it was a big deal to get in the car and come into town and see a movie, and Ben-Hur was it, the big screen.
Deborah Paget probably, I don't know if she was in Ben-Hur, but Deborah Paget did the dancing for all of the biblical movies. I didn't really I love the westerns. I love westerns. Biblical movies weren't my favorite. I had enough of that at school. You know, I didn't want it made real. You know,
it's interesting that both of you mention elaborate, major productions, spectaculars as they were known. Do you remember the first time a small, intimate film struck you?
Oh, Open City. Rossellini's Open City. I grew up in New York City, and my reference group is Italian. And starting in the 50s, it was real easy to see Italian films. And they weren't exactly first run, but they had just started importing them into America. And I was, you know, maybe 10, and had to follow the subtitles, but I could read, you know, that was great. And of course the adults were all very happy to go and hear the language. Whoa, a totally different, talk about a small film. A lot of that footage was shot when the occupation was still taking place. So.
The memory cells are failing.
Really?
Yeah. Don't have one particularly.
You didn't get to see a lot of films at all.
No. I've probably seen more films since the, well, I assume a lot of people have, since the VCR generation, gone to 6, you know, a weekend, you know. And those all, of course, begin to blur together title-wise. But growing up in Mount Morris, you know,
up in the Rocky Heights.
What
about television? Any early? Can you remember childhood television shows that struck you?
Kukla, Fran, and Ollie.
Yeah. Andy's Gang. You remember that one with Andy Devine? You're too young. You wouldn't remember that. But,
ooh, I remember Andy Devine, but I don't remember the show because he had a gap tooth and he was kind of funny and kind of round, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember Andy Devine.
He was the sidekick on a lot of westerns. I think
that was boy stuff too. In a way, you know, so I had to suppress that, although I still love westerns. Even if it's a crummy western, I will go and see it anytime. Like to do a western.
Yeah,
love to do a
That's
western.
a genre that's all but disappeared today.
Too bad.
Yeah, because in television particularly, when I was young, I didn't watch a lot of TV just because we weren't wired that way, but I can remember whole evenings were solidly programmed for TV. There were 2 or 3 nights a week. There was just like 6 westerns in a row, and there's no westerns on at all anymore. Except I guess there's a new one out now, Young Riders.
I haven't seen the TV show, but I saw the movie, and I thought, I can't believe I'm watching another Billy the Kid movie. I loved it. It was a fresh viewpoint, and the acting was wonderful.
I was always fascinated by Channel 5, Channel 12, the local programming, Mr. Magic, you know, those things that...
well, you had Soupy Sales, and we had to wait in New York to get Soupy Sales. It was like, Soupy Sales is coming to New York,
Yeah,
you know?
he was a class act, and just a local guy from down in Southfield.
He is funny. He's still funny.
Yeah. The idea that people you knew might be on the show, be involved with it, was always pretty exciting. Made it a little bit more real than New York. You know, coming out of New York or something, local productions.
I saw, and this is a little bit of trivia, one well, a lot of Jewish comedians. They were big then, okay?
Yeah.
And I think, every major comedian at the time was from New York, from the Lower East Side. They all had the same story. They were all Jewish.
Jackie Mason, Jackie Leonard, all
Okay,
those guys. Yeah.
and Jan, can't think of his name.
Murray?
He was skinny, no. His name was Murray.
Jan
Murray.
yeah.
Okay. He had the show called $1 a Minute or $1 a Second or something. I totally had forgotten all about it. And then on like Nickelodeon or late night when they're showing all of these old shows, it comes out. And it's truly funny. This is funny stuff. And guess who is the timekeeper?
Raquel Welch.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's Raquel Welch. She's 16.
Oh, about that.
Yeah, she hadn't had her nose fixed yet, but it was Raquel. It was great. It was just really funny seeing people get their early start.
Anything to her body.
I only brought that up because that's the validity of the old movies. I don't think it mattered if you saw them in the 30s and 40s because they were fluff then. A lot of them were B movies. Nobody cared, except that it was the Depression and you put a dime down, to get rid of your troubles. But today they're extremely valid because they are, even though they're not real, they are a record in some way of what it was like. Don't you find that? Except that I'm such a great believer when I go to the movies, but I do. I want the hairstyles, the language.
Yes, it isn't real street life, but it is dipping into the time capsule. You do get the smell, you do get the sound, you do even things that you sit there and think, oh, how dull. It's like in the Marx Brothers movie when they go to the love interest and they sing the beautiful ballad and you go, oh yeah, go get a pizza or something. And yet it does give you a sense of just exactly what, for instance, what did the Marx Brothers mean? I mean, they look one way from today's era, but when you see what the environment in which they were operating, you can really appreciate.
Well, I think sticking pins into rich people.
Well,
that's the Marx Brothers.
We just recently interviewed a photographer who talked about one of the aspects of photography that she liked so much was putting herself into the history as she creates it. Okay, and I think that's true whether you're doing documentaries strictly or fictional sort of pieces. When you create something and place it either via print, artwork, movies. Whatever, that becomes your sense of personal interpretation of what history is, and it lives like that, so that when 30 years down the road somebody sees an old film, they sort of sense that that's what it was about, even if it was entirely fictional.